This is a Fate Unlimited Codes tutorial. My name is Clive Salish. I am a Fate Unlimited Codes player. I also play BlazBlue and Soul Calibur, as well as a few other games, including Melty Blood. I'm making this tutorial because there aren't a lot of resources available for players that are in English in this game. Most of the resources are in Japanese because the game was only released in Japan. Anyway, this tutorial is meant to serve as to provide pretty much everything you need to get started in this game. This is meant to be usable for players coming from other fighting games, as well as players who haven't played a fighting game before, or have only played Smash, which is a fighting game, but it doesn't play anything like this. So, but anyway, for those who have played these games, this game plays kind of like a hybrid of BlazBlue and Soul Calibur. I'm going to turn input display on. Anyway, so the first thing I'd like to go over is movement. So, use the D-pad, analog stick, whatever in order to move. You use forward will go forward, yada yada yada. You can jump by pressing up, and you crouch by pressing down. You can jump in midair by pressing up again while you are in the air. You can also do you can also jump at an angle or jump with forward momentum by doing up plus forward. Anyway, saying up plus forward, down plus back, and all that stuff is going to get really annoying. So typically in anime games, we use this thing called numpad notation. So that was an 8 and then a 7. That's a 7. So 7 means up back. It corresponds exactly to the numpad on your computer, and you assume the character is always facing the right for numpad notation. Next thing I'd like to go over is dashing. So it's just double tap horizontal direction. You can't do it in the air, but you can do it on the ground. So backdash is a step, and forward dash is a run. So with forward dash, which is a run dash, you can cancel it into whatever you want. So you can cancel it into whatever you want. The dash break is pretty fast. So it's pretty fast. Now, there's a couple more movement options that I would like to go over, but first I gotta go over the buttons. So, this is a 4-button fighter. The buttons are A, B, C, and D. So I'm gonna go over A first. It's light. It defaults to square on your on a pad, or P1 on a stick if you're playing in the arcade. So it's mashable. It's very quick, but it doesn't hit very far away from you. Next button is B, medium, defaults to triangle, or P2. This one has a little bit more range than A. It has more range, so it hits from further away, and it's not as quick as A, but it also does more damage. C, A, B. Next button is C, heavy, defaults to circle, but this one hits much harder than A and B do. It does more damage, like almost twice as much as B. Also, if your 2C is a launcher, you can jump cancel it. Some characters have a sweeping 2C instead, though. So you can jump cancel it on hit. Button order in this game. So the way doing multiple buttons in a row works is that it goes from lighter buttons to heavier buttons. So that's something you can do. I did 5A, 2A, 5B, 2B, 5C, 2C, no, 5B, 2B, 6B, 5C, 2C. I can also do I did 5B after 2B, which you can also do. So if they're on the same level, you can do them in either order, but you can only do each one once. Unless it's mashable, then you can mash it. If you do a bunch of buttons in a row, it will actually do the full sequence, so... See? So, you can just input it all at the start and it will all come out. You don't have to worry about tight links for that. Because this isn't Street Fighter, this game is designed well. Just kidding, sorry about that jab. Next thing I want to go over is... I'm going to go over specials before I go over the last button. So it's just motion and then a button. So, 236X, 236B, 236C, 214A, 214B, 214C, 63B, 63A, 63C. So, it's just motion and the button. Now, you can, CAN, you can cancel buttons, you can cancel normals with specials, so. Now, the next thing I want to go over is Reflect Guard. So that's the D button. That blue spark is actually a Reflect Guard. So what it does is... It's guard impact, essentially. It puts your opponent in a stun state, and then you go into the special stance. In that stance, you have 3 follow-ups. They're the A follow-up, the B follow-up, and the C follow-up. So the A follow-up is considered a very light normal. So you can follow it up with other normals, so... The B follow-up is considered a very heavy normal, so you cannot follow it up with normals. So you can't follow it up with any normals. But you can, however... follow it up with specials. Reflect Guard costs 60 meter, but if it's successful, you get it all back. Like that. The C follow-up hits harder, and it does 40 meter damage, but it costs 20 meter to do. So, yeah, it costs 20 meter. So, that's the C follow-up. If you get Reflect Guarded, the only thing you can do in response is Reflect Guard. So you can Reflect Guard in retaliation after you get Reflect Guarded, but you can't do anything else. So that's Reflect Guard. Next thing I'd like to go over is movement part 2. So this second portion on movement is going in depth on a couple of things that I left out in the first section. This is intentional. So it's because you use the buttons in this part. So B plus C. 5B plus C will sidestep away from the screen. 2B plus C sidesteps towards the screen. That is, of course, this game is a 3D fighter, so this will move you around in the environment. See how close I am to the corner. Now Rin's in the corner. Now Rin's close to the corner. So that's what sidestep is for. The closer you are to the opponent, the further the angle of the sidestep will be. So it'll be more dramatic if you're close to the opponent. And if your opponent's, and if you're both right up against the wall, you can even switch sides by doing it, which is pretty cool. I thought I'd mention that. So the next thing I want to go over is you can cancel backdash into it, as well as forward dash. So you can do forward dash sidestep, backdash sidestep. Like that. So you can cancel both forward and backdash into sidestep. Additionally, you can cancel backdash into specials. including DP, which is kind of hilarious, including 623C. So you can cancel backdash into specials, which is how Saber does this thing that looks a lot like KBD from Tekken. It's really good for being safe, because if you get a whiff with it, you can go right in with that. The next thing I want to go over is you can turn around during a super jump by pressing D. So, super jump is of course down up. There is no backward or neutral super jump, in case I forgot to mention. So that's super jump. If you press D during it, you'll turn around, which is good for hitting the opponent from the other side. Alright, that's movement part 2. Next, I'm going to go over blocking. So, alright. You just hold away from the opponent and you'll block it. If they cross you up, you have to block the other side. See, I got opened up. Also, you have to block overheads while standing and lows while crouching. So you have to block highs standing and lows crouching. So, got opened up low, got opened up high. The last thing about blocking I want to go over is that you cannot do it in the air. See, can't block in the air. It is impossible to block in midair in this game. So that's blocking. Next thing I want to go over is teching. So on the ground while knocked down, you just press A. If the untech time has passed. And you'll get up neutrally. So you'll just get right up in place. B will tech roll toward the camera, and then C will tech roll away from the camera. Additionally, so that's ground teching. Air teching works differently. Air teching works like this. It doesn't matter which button you press, you will tech. It's based on which direction on the stick you're holding. So if you're not holding any direction, you will tech neutrally. If you're holding toward the opponent, you will tech toward them. And if you hold away from the opponent, you will tech away from them. All three of those times I press the same button. So that's teching. The next thing I want to go over is throws, throw tech. So throw is 6A plus B. This whole animation is a whiff. The throw is active as soon as frame 1. So pretty much the entire grab attempt animation is a whiff. Throw break is the same command. Or you can break by doing 4A plus B. Now, push block. So push block is during block stun, press A plus B. So that will push the opponent away and make their next attack more likely to whiff, which allows you to get a punish. The other defensive mechanic in this game is guard cancel. It's 6B plus C while on block stun. It will knock them down, it's invincible on startup, and you can't combo out of it. But it's pretty good. So that's all the defensive mechanics. I'm going to go to the character select screen because Rider is better for showing off the next few mechanics. So as I said, I'm going with Rider for this section because Rider and Rain are better for showing off this portion. So we're going to go here. So this section's a little bit more advanced, but still mostly basic stuff. So, jump cancelable. launching normals, like Riders 2C and Sabers 2C, are jump cancelable on hits. You can never jump cancel on block, though. So, can't jump cancel. Only on hit. Next thing is that there are actually specials in this game that are jump cancelable on hit, which is pretty unique. So 63A for Rider is jump cancel on hit, which is pretty cool. So you can jump cancel that on hit. Which is really useful. There's a lot of combos where you do launcher and then launcher special, jump cancel, and then you do an air ender. Like that. Like that. So there's a lot of combos where you do that, which is pretty cool. Next thing I want to go over is 623C. So this is a special. It's the C version of DP. Is what it's often abbreviated to. That costs 30 meter, but does 20 meter damage on hit. So the last hit will damage their meter. Which is really useful because damaging your opponent's meter is super useful in this game. The next thing I'd like to go over is supers. So it's just 236, 236 button. Some characters will have one for multiple buttons, others will only have one, which then it's going to be A. So you can cancel normals into supers, but you can cancel normals into supers, but you can't cancel specials into supers. So you can cancel normals into supers, but not specials. So anyway, that's supers. Some characters have multiple supers. Anyway, next thing I want to go over is activate. So activate is a very unique mechanic in this game. It's just A plus B plus C. So activate is just A plus B plus C. If you're not in an attack animation or being blocking or getting hits, so if you're neither in block stun, hit stun, or an attack animation, you can do a neutral activate. As you can see, Ryder healed back a lot of her damage. That's because during the duration of a neutral activate, you heal. Also, the way activate works is it costs you have to have at least 100 meter, and the cost and timer is just your meter will drain down and act as the timer. When it runs out, the activate ends. During activate, the following properties apply. So 1, 623C is free, but it doesn't do meter damage. Reflect Guard is also free. So Reflect Guard is free. Also during activate, I'm gonna build some meter. Not quite enough. So during activate, supers will consume the meter, but they don't require having that much meter to spend it. So alright. So see, I just did an illegal super. Or an otherwise illegal super. So I just did a double super when I only had under 200 meter. That's why I could do it. The other property of activate is ignore what I said about how you can't cancel specials into activate. No, into supers. You can while activated. Like that. So you can cancel supers. You can cancel specials into supers while activated, but only while activated. Like that. It can also lead to some hilarious nonsense that you just saw. I'll explain that in the advanced video. Next type of activate is a burst. So bursting requires at least 200 meter because it costs 200 to burst. So it will blow them away and knock them down. So it allows you to get them off you and regain some momentum, hopefully. You can also do it while in block stun. So hit or block stun, you can burst. You can also burst in the air. But you cannot neutral activate in the air. The last type, another type of activate is a cancel activate. So a cancel activate is what it says on the tin. Activating during another attack animation. You do not heal during the duration of a cancel activate. Otherwise, it acts and there is also no shockwave during. There is a shockwave during a neutral activate, but during a cancel activate, there is no shockwave. So there is no shockwave during a cancel activate. The other two types of activate are 300 mana. So if you do a neutral or a cancel activate with 300 mana, your character's unique 300 mana ability will go off. So Rin's gives her infinite jewels during the duration of it. So it doesn't matter how many she had left, she has infinite now. The number she had left is how many she has left at the end of the activate, though. So that's for an example. For a more broken example, that slows down time for the opponent because Rider is broken. The last type of activate to go over is Holy Grail. So I need to go over the Holy Grail. So whenever you do a combo, the damage from the combo fills into the Grail. It doesn't matter who fills it up, not how much either player filled it up by. Whoever fills it up last gets Grail advantage. Now during Grail advantage, you can do a Grail activate, which a Grail activate will claim the Grail. During a Grail activate, the countdown goes slower, so you lose meter slower. Also during a Grail activate, you can do your Holy Grail super. This does a flat 4,000 damage no matter what. Once the Grail has been claimed in a round, it cannot be claimed again. So it doesn't matter how long the combo was into it. During the advanced section, I'll show off a ridiculous combo into it. Anyway, that's the end of the basic section.